Hey everyone, Keegan of the Media Men here, and this is a review from one mediocre gamer about the game Days Gone. So hopping right into it, I think this game just looks absolutely beautiful. It was released on the PS4, and I think it just captured so well what the PS4 was capable of, and everything about this game screams detail, and that the developers really felt like that this game was going to be a visually stunning game. Secondly, here we got the story is just very engaging. Definitely does a pretty decent job of making you feel bad for these characters and the stories. When you're sitting around the campfire, you can hear the stories of all the people there and how they came to get there. So it really feels like a real world and that people went through these kind of experiences, which I really appreciate that level of detail from just general NPCs that you have no interaction with throughout the game. The mechanics of the game feel extremely smooth, and I think, generally speaking, every time I'm running around or shooting or jumping over things, it feels really responsive. The bike feels really good, it has weight to it, and when you're driving the bike, you feel like you're driving an actual bike. You have to monitor your gas to make sure you're not running too hot, or when you're going downhill, you can just coast to preserve gas, which I find is a really good way to manage the bike. Every skill line in this game I thought had very unique and interesting abilities that you could gain, and with that, I felt in each of the three skill lines, there was at least one thing at the end of the skill line that I really wanted to work towards. I think there were plenty of good things within the skill lines too that were awesome, but making you work and level up your character so that you can shoot, pick, and choose what's going to be the best advancement for your character and your playstyle, I thought was really good. The bike upgrades in this game and the customizations I thought were very fun, give a good variety, and you can see how many different kinds of colors and skins and upgrades mechanically to the bike. You can put nitrous in there to get yourself a boost, and I think all of that makes for a really fun and enjoyable upgrade process for the bike. Throughout this whole game, you get a real sense of danger and fear too. There were many moments where I'm either walking through or riding my bike, and all of a sudden you come up on just a horde of zombies, and you think, oh my god, do I have enough stamina to run out of here? Is my bike gonna get caught in that massive horde? It really does a great job of making you feel a good sense of fear. And when you're going into houses, you never know when a freaker is going to pop out and kind of attack you. And the fear doesn't just go for the freakers in this game, but a lot of the human characters in this game are very threatening, and especially the wolves. I can't tell you how many times I have just been walking along, maybe in a fight with something, and out of nowhere behind me, a wolf comes back and bites my head off. I mean, at any point in this game, I feel like I could really die. And I think that's a very difficult thing to capture sometimes. And even when I'm in cutscenes, I feel like you can hear the freakers in the background, and I think, oh my god, are these guys gonna take me out of this cutscene and just kill me? So I thought that was just really, really well done. I think the resources in this game are extremely big. It's a survival game, and I think it does that very well, where your inventory always feels generally kind of low, but it doesn't typically cross over the line of being tedious. Managing your stamina when you're running is very important through the whole game, and every time you're running away from something, you're always looking down there. How much do I got left? Because if you get to the point where you have no stamina left, then you can't even dodge these freakers, and it gets really, really annoying. Filling up the gas in your car really makes, or in your motorcycle, I should say, it's never to the point where I feel like I have to fill up every second, but because I never want to run out, I do find myself filling up a lot and questioning, like, is this round trip going to be, or is this trip going to be a round trip, or is it going to be a one-way trip? Is there a gas canister around that once I get to that destination? And there's lots of gas stations all over the place, but you have to be aware that the freakers are out. And if you go to a gas station that's crawling with freakers, all of a sudden you could find yourself midway through filling up your car just barreled down by some freakers, and you end up running for your life. I think the gunplay in this game is extremely fun and responsive. I like how you're not pinpoint accurate, and when you move, your accuracy goes down, and you can see that visualized by the circle in there. When you go into your focus mode, you can see that really narrow down and focus up, which I think lends itself to a good name there. So generally, I think this game is very good. But I'm going to get into some cons here that I've come across since playing the game, because very few games are perfect, if any, and I've definitely found a few things that I either don't like or I think are kind of broken. And this section will probably be a little longer than the pros just because it's easy to tell you things that I like and kind of have to explain why I don't like other things. Firstly, stealth in this game. Generally, I think it's okay, but to me it feels super inconsistent, or that like you will be in a bush or something and enemies for no reason know exactly where you are. You can get tracked perfectly from behind rocks. If they see you once, all of a sudden you are this glowing target that is transparent through rocks, and they can just beam you as soon as you get to the other side of the rock, like they knew you were going to come out from that exact angle. And I thought it got really annoying when you're out in a field or something, and on the turn of a dime, a guy would turn around and shoot an LMG at you, and I have nowhere to hide, and he's got this big metal bucket on his head that I can't kill him in one shot, so I end up just getting wrecked by some of these guys sometimes for situations in which I don't feel were my fault or that I did anything wrong. And maybe that's the point of the game, is that, you can't control everything, but I do wish that the stealth felt sometimes a little more consistent as to when these enemies could see you or not. And I'll say right now, I straight up did not have fun on some of the following the researcher missions. The story was very interesting to hear, but there were a couple situations in which I swear these guys could pick me out no matter what I was doing or where I was hiding. And after the fourth time listening to the story, I wasn't interested anymore. I was just trying to run through this as fast as possible and move on with the game. So that I did not enjoy. And maybe this is because I'm a mediocre gamer who can't hide properly, but in my opinion, as a mediocre player, I thought it was very inconsistent. And also, I got a little offended when it asked me to lower the difficulty once on one of those stealth missions, because I hadn't been dying very often, and all of a sudden, here it is, I'm getting caught 4 times by the same Nero research officer, and it asked me to lower the difficulty. So, maybe I just suck and maybe I need to get good, but that is something that I noticed. Sometimes the stealth button just straight up wouldn't work. I would go up to someone, and I know in this video that I have, not a great example because I go up to his front, and obviously he can see me, and that's why I can't stealth kill him. But I promise you there were other situations in which when I did that, I would come up from him from the back, and he wouldn't know I was there, and the triangle button to execute them just wasn't there. And I would be trying to press it, nothing would happen, and then all of a sudden he would turn around, and then all of a sudden the entire camp knows I'm there. This mechanic wouldn't be so annoying if the fact that the whole camp wasn't alerted to you being there when really one person found you. And it would be even less annoying if it wasn't so damn hard to get back into stealth after you were discovered by a camp. There were countless times where after I was discovered by a camp, I had to run like 100 meters away, hide in a bush, and they're still looking for me. But at the very least, they lost track of me and they weren't able to find me. So, I was able to get a couple snipes off while they weren't looking. But man, would it be so hard for them just to lose interest in me and maybe say, hey, Keegan, that's not realistic, and that's not how it would be in the real world. If you killed someone in front of them, they would immediately know that you were there, and they wouldn't just be like, oh, it was nothing. I know Skyrim rules very well. But see, my counter to that is, does the realism trump gameplay? And I think, generally speaking, no. I think if you have a solid base game, then you can make it very realistic, but still make the gameplay fun and a way that I want to continue going down a certain path, not, oh, I'm going to just restart this mission because, I've already failed on the stealth part and now I've got 100 people to fight through, whereas if I stealthed it, I could do it a lot quicker, and really it would just save me time from going back and pulling up the last checkpoint or dying because there's 100 people chasing me and there's nothing I can do about it. This one can kind of go both ways, but the mini-map zooming when I got on the bike got kind of annoying sometimes when you're on the bike and you have resources and different events pop up, and then you go to pick up the mission. When you get off your bike, all of a sudden it's another 100 meters away, and I have to run way further than I thought for an item that was right next to me. So sometimes that got really annoying. I wish when the map zoomed out, it would have given me some kind of way to know how close those items were. And I'm sure there's some scale out there that I could have been like, okay, well, it's this far on the map when I'm not on the bike, or this far on the map when I am on the bike, so it's going to take XYZ long. But, I'm not really into doing that kind of math. I'm just here to have a good time. Another thing that I think was a little more annoying than that, though, was that I did not like that there wasn't a more central currency. I understand what they were doing, and the more a certain camp liked you, the more credit they gave you, and that's why they had to build it for a individual currency, and at every camp you have a different amount of currency. But the problem that I was running into a lot was you got the credit by doing missions, but sometimes the missions weren't available at certain camps, so I just didn't have enough credits, and it was really annoying because sure, you could say you could turn in bounties or you can go hunting for them, but they give you such little credit for all that stuff, it never felt worth it to me. I mean, going out and killing a bunch of freaks, half of what I make on that is just going to come back to restock the ammo I used to kill them in the first place. And sometimes, and for some reason, I mean, killing marauders gives you nothing credit-wise. Every now and then you'll get lucky and you'll find some kind of swarmer ear or something on those people, but generally speaking, they gave you materials, of which I was typically full on, so they were almost completely worth it, and I just ended up going out of my way for a lot of these camps because I always felt scarce on my ammo, and I didn't want to waste it when I knew that I wasn't going to get as much out of killing them as I would just leaving them alone. So I didn't like that. Plus, not only did they not give me any currency, but they hardly give you any ammo in a lot of these places. So for some of the more structured missions that you were on, they did put the ammo in very convenient places and always enough ammo in almost all of the missions I played through. But when you were in the wild and you would find enemy camps and players just attacking you out of nowhere, then they had almost no ammo on them, and what really bothered me was they're shooting me with an infinite amount of ammo, and then I kill them, walk over to them, and when I pick up their gun, it's completely empty, and there's no ammo anywhere around their body. That really, first of all, took me out of the realistic experience in there, and I just thought it was not cool, because for as much as you're going to shoot me, you don't even give me what it took to kill you back. I did not like that. Another thing I found a little annoying was when you would put markers on the map, sometimes to go to a mission, they wouldn't tell you if you should go all the way to that marker or if you should stop before it to stealth up. I've been in a few situations in which I thought I was supposed to go all the way to the marker, it would trigger a cutscene, and then we'd go into the mission. But no, I get there, and I run past an enemy camp that it's directing me towards, and they're shooting me before I get off my bike, and I don't even stand a chance at stealth. Whereas other times, if you stop before, then I have to just run another 100 meters, and then it would trigger a cutscene anyway, and have me pull up on my bike in the cutscene. There was no real way to tell for me if this is going to be a place that I had to stop and get off my bike and go in stealth, or if it was something that I was supposed to drive up to and then it would start the mission from there. I really didn't like that. So now I want to get into a couple real nitpicky items. So I don't hold this too hard against the game at all. Every game has certain aspects you like and dislike. But these are a couple things that I noticed after playing the game for a while that I was kind of like, I wish I could do this, or I wish I could do that. Starting off, if you've met Ricky yet in the game, she's great. She's a good character. I like her. But for some reason, in her little area, when you go to accept missions, it slows me down to a crawl. And it's like, I feel like I'm stuck in mud trying to get away from her because it wouldn't be so bad, but the area around her that slows you down just, I really noticed it after doing a few of her missions where it felt like it took forever just to get out of her little area so I could run again. This is what I haven't had to happen too often, but I did notice it a couple times where I would occasionally fast travel right into an area of immediate danger. There was a couple times I was going back to my house, and as soon as I traveled there, I immediately got shot because there was someone right in front of my gate. And if I fast traveled less, this would probably not be a problem, but there were a couple situations in which I had to go all the way across the map, and I was just not feeling it that time. And I'm trying to move along a little bit with this story. I've driven this road 100 times. I don't think I need to drive it 110. So that's just a little thing I wish at least they were a little further away from me, like on the outer ring of my circle, not literally directly on top of me when I spawned. The other thing I didn't love was the way crafting was handled. I kind of wish there was a cleaner interface other than the weapon wheel. And the weapon wheel I thought was great for in combat situations. Sure, you're in combat, you pull up the weapon wheel, you get a crafting item, and I thought that worked perfectly. But when I was in a camp, I really wish I could have gone to a table or a station or something and just crafted everything to get it out of the way and repair any items that I needed to repair other than having to always do it in the weapon wheel. And in fact, when you were in the camp, I wasn't even able to repair my weapons because all the weapons are locked. So it's like I'm in this finally a safe place, gonna go repair my weapon so I don't get beat from behind, and I go to repair and nope, it's not having it today. I wish there was just a cleaner interface for it for times where I was not in immediate danger or immediately in any kind of situation in which I'd have to do things quickly. But like I said, for the purposes of the game, like when you were in combat, I thought it was executed very, very well. One of the other things that I'm just going to tack on here at the end, going back to the good things, is that I really liked how you could get ambushed. And it was super annoying when I'm running away from a bunch of freakers or a wolf is chasing me, and then all of a sudden I'd hit a tripwire, fall off my bike. My bike's now destroyed, and I have to fight off these other guys plus the people that are chasing me. And I thought this was excellently done. It was always in areas of high travel, so if I wanted to avoid it, I could stay off the roads, but if I'm trying to get somewhere fast or get an easy drive in or save gas, this was always a worry or concern. So I have a very poor eyes, it seems, when looking for these tripwires because I think I get hit by them every time they're there, and I almost never catch them. But even for someone like me who gets hit every single time by this, I was really impressed by the way the ambushes were handled, and it made you feel a real sense of danger always going back to camp. Even if I knew, oh, I have a full tank of gas, this is easy, I can just hop on my bike, nothing's gonna catch me. But then all of a sudden you get hit by a tripwire and now you're on the ground fighting for your life, trying to run back to your car, to your motorcycle, pick it up and keep going. Overall, I thought this game was a blast and I had a great time with it. I'm excited to get back in there, exploring the open world and doing everything that this game has to offer. I do think there were some things that could have been done better or executed a little better, but overall, I had a blast with the game. The story was great. It looked beautiful. The gunplay was very fun, and it did what it was intending to do and give you a sense that you were living in a zombie apocalypse and you had to fight for your life at every turn while still being a hero, and whatever a hero is in an apocalyptic world. Just know that there are a few things that do feel a little inconsistent and could be done better or at least not so annoyingly. But I kind of want to know what anybody else has to think about this game. I know it's an old game and I'm getting around to it really, really late. I just kind of picked it up on a free PlayStation month, and honestly, I think it was a great pickup. I definitely would have paid for this game had it released at a time where I had a PS5, but let me know what you think, and if you disagree with any of the comments I've made, or if you agree with it, or if you think that this is a masterpiece or a horrible game. I'd love to know what you think. So this is Keegan from the Media Men, a mediocre gamer who enjoys talking about games and is definitely not the best or the fastest or does everything the right way, but I still love games and I love talking about them. So let me know what you think.